three changes. Can we approve the agenda?
I'll move that we accept the agenda as suggested and amended.
Okay. All in favor? Thank you. So it's unanimous, so it's okay to have those in closed session. Thank you. All right. Welcome, Councillor. We have no delegation at this point. We have some minutes that need to be adopted. Councillor,
I'll move that we adopt the
Burton?
minutes from May 27th.
thank you. All in favor? Thank you so much. All right, draft bylaw amendment 1703C. We had quite a bit of conversation at the last CCW. We know that it's not perfect by all means, but it might be an in-between to satisfy different possibility and option for those that will be on council that might not always be available at the table. Is there, Councillor?
I was just going to say, since we had quite a bit of discussion last week on it, I would recommend first reading of Bylaw Amendment 1703C.
Okay.
Council procedure.
Any
bylaw.
other question, comments? Councillor Burton?
As I've thought about this, I thought, and we did discuss it quite a bit, so I don't want to rehash what we talked about last time, but if we were starting from scratch, we're actually extending and broadening when somebody cannot be here. We're not making it smaller. I know it feels like we're making it smaller, but we're actually doing the opposite. So if you just go by the MGA, as soon as you miss one meeting, your 60 days starts to tick, and
It's 2 months.
you can't attend digitally, and you can't miss more than 60 days, or you're
Right.
out. And that's the end of the story. We're actually expanding it to say,
3 months.
well, in
Wow.
two ways. We're expanding by saying you can attend digitally for a period of time. And we've left the backstop, or the engineer would appreciate the pressure valve, where council can extend it further than that. So,
Yeah.
so we've actually broadened
The
rather than
application.
contracted the provisions of the MGA.
Yeah, I agree with that comment. Anybody else? Councillor?
I would ask that for all three readings that we record the votes.
No problem.
Thank you.
We'll do that. So, all right, so we have a motion on the table to pass first reading. All in favor? I will pass it because I feel the changes we made are appropriate. Against? Thank you. All right, so we can, for that matter, do second reading if you so wish.
Make a motion for second reading of Bylaw 1703C, Council Procedure Bylaw Amendment.
All in favor? Against? Thank you. Now, if you want to push it to the end, you need to allow for third reading. But we can stop there
I'd
and we
like to
can
stop
leave
there
it,
myself.
and we can leave it alone for another 2 weeks.
Part of
It's the proper way to
part of
do it.
what's brought this forward isn't just our opinion, it's people from the community,
Yeah.
either way, right? And so we should let them have a say if they want.
I think it's a good point because I could come and give us some feedback. I totally agree. All right, so under 5B, election related resolution, Jeff, you have a certain amount of conditions and people that we need to appoint.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So there's actually quite a number of resolutions by December or June that a council can look at, but these are 4 that administration feels we need to pass by the end of June. These allow us to have the returning officer make provisions for advance votes. It allows us to make provisions for institutional voting. And if council doesn't appoint specifically a returning officer, I'm by default the returning officer, which is fine, but I'm also by default the secretary for the election. And so I like to have an arm's length returning officer as well. So you'll see at the bottom, there's 4 resolutions that administration is requesting.
Okay, Councillor Granger, you want to go for it?
Yeah. I move that it be resolved that council appoint Suzanne Pearson as the returning officer for the 2025 municipal election.
Thank you. All in favor? Thank you. Hold on a second, there was Councillor Brown and
Go ahead,
then
Councillor.
Councillor
We got 4, so we're good.
Yeah,
Okay, I'll take number 2. I make a motion that council appoint Jill Henniger as the substitute returning officer for the 2025 municipal election.
Okay, all in favor? Thank you. Councillor Court, go for it.
I would make a resolution that the council authorize the returning officer to designate the location of one or more institutional voting stations for the 2025 municipal election.
Okay, welcome, Councillor. All in favor? Thank you. Who is going to do the last one? Councillor Jensen?
I make a motion that council provide for holding one or more advanced votes for the 2025 municipal election.
Thank you. All in favor? Thank you. All right. Anything else related to that you need to know? Welcome, Councillor Kenley.
Thank you.
All right, so let's go on the 5C donation request. Jeff, you have given us some background there. It's a little bit of a mixed bag, so.
I just like to throw different nuance of donation requests at you every meeting, just so we can experience everything.
You're doing very well.
Seriously.
We so
Yeah.
appreciate the
Yeah.
nuance.
So this one's, there's 2 requests from the chamber. They're both different items. The one is really looking at waiver of fees. The other is looking at a cash request. So you do have your backgrounder in front of you, and I also have a letter I sent back in March to the chamber after they'd come and discuss this. So I thought we had the terms settled, but they obviously were looking to see if council would waive any use of facilities and the park above and beyond what we'd previously negotiated.
All right, so comments, Councillor Kenley?
I was just gonna add on this, I literally just read this last night, and I do agree with admin about the electrical stuff, not being able to use it at the park. It's just cause for bad problems. It's their choice to have it there, they've gotta figure out a way to get electricity. I just don't want extended cords running through the, are they having it in the like town square, in the field, or like spray park area, the playground area, like?
And my understanding is it's mixed throughout the
Yeah.
playground park area
It's
Yeah.
just cause
where it's
for
intended to be.
some issues.
Councillor Granger?
Yeah, I would agree. So questions, where would these cords start and they would
Sure.
end at their tables, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
So is the power supply over at the bathrooms or
In the
something?
announcer's booth, that 2-story building,
Blue building?
more at the center of the track, centered on the track, I should say.
Usually
So, would the cords have to go across the spray park area?
Well, I'm not suggesting they have to go right across that area, but unless they're gonna line everybody, like clump them right around that booth, then, that
But
would
when they
have to
spoke to
be-
you earlier, they didn't ask this. What were they gonna do? Generators?
I think each vendor was responsible
Oh, I
to
think it should be.
take
Yeah.
care of that at the time. It wasn't something that they were looking at, and in my letter, I put in there specifically that this didn't include electricity. Again,
Well, I
they're
think-
not paying for anything.
Yeah, I think there's liability issues, there's safety issues. What kind of cords, they bring in their own cords, it's gonna be a rat's nest, dog's breakfast of stuff. That leads to me think that it's unsafe. If we allowed this, I think there'd be liability issues. Do they have event insurance for this?
I believe they've got all that sorted. They've been licensed, so they've procured their license with the town for it. And,
Wanna double check that.
and then they have, somebody out of Pincher Creek who's putting it on. But yeah, I would have to check that.
Yeah, because I mean, but even with that protection, I think that's something that we don't wanna go near. So I share Councillor Kennelly's concern that way. As far as requesting, sorry, just summarize the dollar part again. They want
So on the park,
I want the rental.
yeah, they're wondering if there's any inclement days and they need to come into the civic center or the ice rink, will we waive that fee? That was the other part of that.
Well, I guess, I mean, if this was a community group, you know, that doesn't have a whole lot of money, these are businesses, this is promoting their businesses. It's not like a service club or something, so I'm just, I guess my sympathy in terms of dollars doesn't stretch that far, you know, because of their businesses, and I'm supportive of the idea, but I guess I see a difference between a community service situation and businesses.
Okay, Councillor Granger, you may even refer to the past where the Agrodome used to have the markets, and they used to rent the tables to those merchants.
Yeah, that was before my time.
Yeah, so that's the way it used to be. So Councillor Brown, Councillor Burton, Councillor Court.
No, I have similar questions when it comes to extension cords. That just scares me a little bit. As far as on the bad days of weather, I am in support of them having the Civic Center, ice arena, whatever is needed, in that they will clean it up and maintain it. I don't have a problem with that. So that I'm in favor of, because these are local Cardston people that are trying to support families. So I have no problem with that. I am concerned though with the electrical side of things.
Councillor Burton.
So I don't understand what the $500 is for. Do we know?
Now, are you looking at the second request?
Well,
Yes.
so if I
You're
look
looking at
under
the first one.
costs and potential sources of funding, it says,
$500 in donation.
it says separately, civic center fees are waived.
Yeah.
And then number 2, it says $500. Are those separate? Like, are they asking for 500 cash?
That was my question.
Or does that just represent the cost of us waiving the facility?
Sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was on my thing, not their thing. Okay.
Yeah,
I
I'm
was
looking at your
showing 1 and
table.
2. 1 is the market, 2 is the donation for the movie.
Yeah.
So the item 2s are, sorry, I did not make that very clear. In the history of the event, 1 was all about the market, 2 is about the movie, and then in the source of funding, 1 was about the market, 2 is about the movie.
So the 500 cash is to support the movie.
Correct. Yes.
So I did the movie at the Agrodome last year. And to bring in Mr. Rasmussen and his equipment was $300. And he provided the screen, the PA, like he did a fantastic job, and it was $300.
So you think he needs to be contacted to find out what
I'm just saying, if that's what we're doing
the
is
going rate
helping
is?
with the movie, they can do that for $300 because I did it for $300.
The fee is the licensing fee to show the movie.
Movie, that's right.
It's
Yeah.
not the facility to show it. It's not the ability to show it. Let's put it that way. It's the licensing fee to distribute and show the movie.
Councillor.
So he brought his own.
Okay, but-
We just told him what one we wanted and he did it.
That's legal. But
Yeah.
So to
Somebody
be
asked.
legal, to do it appropriately, because
Need to
I did
be
it at the
licensed.
Agrodome, we started it.
Through Alana.
We did it through Alana, but there was a fee in order to do it. And if
Yes,
you're going
yes.
to, you have to have that licensing fee. I don't know.
I tried Alana first. She couldn't get it in time, so he just
Right.
saved
Right.
the day with it.
Okay.
Well, and to be fair, she did it for us, but it was, right after COVID. It was during COVID, and so she was just trying to work with us. I don't think she should have to be covering this. So,
No.
but it is in order to do it
I got you.
legally, there is that fee.
Okay. Is that clear for everybody? Now, let's go back to the rental, the first item. Here is something, Councillor Brown, I would like to understand. If we give them in bad weather the privilege of using the ice rink,
the ice rink or
but that's not what I want. They want
Either
that
or.
either or. Yeah, I think the either or is important because if we have pre-booked
Of
that
course.
venue, we should not be obligated to give them that venue. If that's clear, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, we should definitely not be bumping anybody for them.
No,
I think they should be in the ice arena. We used to have it in the ice
Yeah,
arena.
we
We know
used
it
to.
can easily go in there. There's electric, there's all the things. So I think it should be ice arena in case of bad weather.
It's gonna be a
Personally,
problem
that
down
would
there.
be
Should
my,
be fine.
my recommendation too.
They have to worry about electricity.
I mean,
comment
I
on that,
know,
but-
I know
Yep.
it's a more pleasant venue here, but still, I think we need
Lot
to
more
make
going
sure we
on.
don't bump anybody.
Agreed.
So what exactly do we need there? Do you need a recommendation for number one and number two, I suppose? So Councillor Kenley,
Can I do them both or just one at a time?
you need to make them separate, I believe.
Okay, first one is this,
Okay, go ahead.
So
I guess, are we in favor of it?
well, just to administration. So, you know, it's somebody else asking for cash. The $500 is what I'm speaking to. Do we have anything left in that cash kitty?
We have a
Because
little bit,
we've
but
been
not
handing
much.
out a lot of things lately.
Yeah,
Cash
Um,
kitty, I like that.
I
It's from
think
the
he would be
extent.
okay. Yeah, I think they're still okay in that account.
What does okay mean?
That it would-
$500 left?
Sufficient,
would-
yeah.
It would cover it.
I
'Cause
haven't,
we're
I haven't
only
looked
in-
at it right away, but yeah, there's not much left, but I'm pretty sure there's $500 worth in there.
All right, good?
Well, I guess, is the $500 gonna kill us or is it gonna kill their, anyways, okay, I'm gonna make a motion, we can vote on it. I will do the first one of, I'll make a motion to allow, is that what we want? Allow this, Chamber of Commerce to have their farmer's market in the Civic Center or, ice rink if needed, dependent on weather, and no use of electricity at the park.
Perfect. All in favor?
Make that sound
Thank
really
you.
good.
You did very well. Somebody else wants to do the second one, or Councillor Kenley
Yeah,
carry
I'll do
on?
the second one. I'll move that we give $500 from donations to the Chamber of Commerce for the use of the movie. That's just what it says in here.
What's that?
Well, it's a donation fund that we have at the town.
Is it? So that's what it's coming out of?
For the movie license.
For the movie, yeah, that.
Yeah. All in favor? No? Okay,
I have
question?
a comment. I'm not in favor of this because of the nature of the group. It's a bunch of businesses. I don't think that our donation fund was intended to fund private business, so I'm gonna vote against it.
The $500 is to,
That doesn't matter if it's 10
Okay.
cents.
I appreciate that, Councillor.
My understanding of this is they're promoting the community, not the businesses that happen
Yeah,
to belong.
exactly.
to-
Agreed.
No,
Yeah.
they're selling stuff.
No,
But
no.
I
it's
think
not.
Drawing.
So Counselor, so they're having, so correct me if I'm wrong, but when I read this, it was my understanding that they're having a farmer's market and that is run by the chamber. And then the chamber then after or in bits during this so that when people they're trying to promote an experience.
Right.
It's about the experience of being at the farmer's market, having the music, having a movie, family togetherness. So it's not really, say one, I don't want to say what business, but
CSL.
say CSL. So it's not CSL saying, look at our trucks, look at us, look at us. It's
Yeah.
literally the chamber who has a whole bunch of these business owners that are volunteering their time to be a part of it. Does that make sense? I think it's more so that rather than pick me, spend money at my store. I think it's way more community based.
I would guess that none of the farmers market people belong to the chamber. I think it's
Some of them
community, okay,
do.
but
But just as volunteers. though.
thematically, it's
Yeah,
not the chamber.
agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah.
Councillor Jensen.
Okay, so in my eyes, I'm in favor of the $500 and for the movie. because of the nature of the movie. They're not just showing a Disney movie. They're showing something that is to help with drug
Understanding.
abuse and things like that, and to promote healthier lifestyles and that. And so for that reason, I'm in favor of that.
Motion on the table.
Thank you, Councillor Kenley.
Yeah.
All in favor? Against? Thank you, Councillor.
Mayor, I have a question relating to this. So you had mentioned a couple of meetings ago that when you're discussing donations, that we would invite people who were on our regular donation list come at least once a year and report back,
Yeah,
which I think is a fantastic idea. I think the chamber should be on that list, not because we gave them $500 once, but because I can't think of a more natural thing than having the chamber and the town talk more. So
yeah, and that's something
I
we
would like-
always wanted to
I would like
promote.
us to extend to the chamber at least once a year. Come in and visit with us,
Good.
not tied to this $500, but just because it's all going to go better if they do than if they don't, I would think. How can we help them? How can they help us?
Yeah, I,
Because we don't have anybody designated, a sort of a committee that we could have somebody on, we don't.
yeah,
Anyway, that's a
yeah,
thought.
I think it's a good thing. We need to create more bridges with the chamber. We really do. Councillor,
I will
Um,
say that they have been fantastic. They've reached out to me numerous times and invited me to their meetings,
That's
their
very good.
AGM, all the things. Jeff helped me put together, as I've said before, information for them. So they are working really hard, and they're trying new things, is what I'll say.
Well, I think it'd be an act of good faith on our part.
They're inviting
to-
me, so
yeah,
we should invite them.
yeah.
So put the
Not,
motion
not that
forward.
we're on the hot seat, just
No,
we want them
no.
to come in as neighbors
Well,
and
Okay.
community.
Is it a motion?
I don't think we need a
Just an
motion.
invite?
Jeff, if you want to formalize it, I suppose you could.
Okay, well,
Councillor
I'd
Burton.
make a motion that we extend a friendly invitation to the Cardston Chamber of Commerce to
For yearly invitation.
come visit us at least once a year, and if we do make that other list, that they be added to that list so that we're regularly inviting them.
Great idea.
All right. All in favor? Again? Okay. Thank you. All right, let's go on to 6 other business, FCSS agreement. I went with Councillor Jensen and Jeff to the meeting this past, what was it? Wednesday? Wednesday, I think. And we looked at the present agreement as a possibility to create an agreement that will be appropriate to put us in line with what the province wants from SCSS. So that agreement does that. That agreement does not consider changes in the full governance as FCSS had originally proposed, and with a full director. That is not what this agreement is all about. This agreement is to make us compliant with the province. And I can tell you that the county has already approved it. One of the villages in the midst of approving it, the other one we don't know. And I would suggest that we approve this agreement to be compliant. The other portion will need a little bit more work. I think the village of Glenwood that requested more transparency into the budget for them to be able to understand what the ask was and how it would impact future programming. So for that reason, we felt that it was best to separate the two requests, one to be compliant, the other one to review the model. Councillor Kenley,
I was just gonna ask, is there really much difference to what we had to now? Like,
it's fairly different.
is it quite different?
Yeah, it's fairly different.
If I might, Mayor, it's just much more thorough.
Okay.
So the new one is it's just clarifying a whole bunch of aspects of the current governance that our previous one, it was pretty light.
I didn't read our past one. I'm reading this one. Like, are they?
Oh, the
same?
past one was a page and a bit.
Yeah, no, it's much more thorough, and the province wanted something that showed more about the responsibilities of the board, how the constitution of the board, terms, interaction with the province. This one, I think, is quite a thorough agreement.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Burton, Councillor Granger.
So Jeff, if you could pull it up in front of you, I'm gonna ask
Yep.
you a question. If you go to paragraph 3,
Yep.
and then to B and C. So what that's discussing is the length of term of a member of our council on that board. And it doesn't quite fit the way that it works for us. So if I'm reading it right, so in B2, it says the term of the appointed board member will be for their term on council.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not necessarily how we do it. It's
Right.
at the leisure of the mayor.
Right.
And secondly, for resignation, it says that we can resign by submitting a resignation. I've never felt at liberty to resign from my committee appointment. I go back to the mayor and say, please change it, but I don't just resign.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if those should be tweaked to fit what we really do. I know it's awkward if they've already
Yeah.
accepted it.
Well, and I
Anyway,
don't-
that's my only
Yeah.
concern about that, is it doesn't really reflect how it works here.
Right. One of the challenges too is I don't know precisely how the other three do it.
Yeah.
So,
No, I don't know.
yeah,
You could
it's
add-
not, this isn't a clause I even looked at in all.
We
this.
can work through it, because
Yeah.
if the mayor lets you resign, then you could turn in your resignation. But
yeah.
anyway,
Yeah, I wouldn't,
it's not a
Overly-
huge deal, but
I wouldn't overly, worry too much about it.
okay.
Councillor Granger?
Just my thought on that is, can you not just add a tag in accordance with the municipality's bylaws or policies?
Good, yeah.
And that would fix that.
Yeah.
That gives you a note there.
Well, it
The
was-
county is already
My
approved.
question.
Yeah, it was approved by two
Well,
already.
And we
but-
can always, as we get into this, it's gonna find things that we may have to do an amendment fairly soon.
Okay,
We might find some
So-
things in its application that require amendment.
okay, so why don't,
Next item on our agenda.
Yeah, right, just like the next.
okay, so would it be appropriate then to let administration put it as a reminder under that file? That we need
'cause
to
the
look
problem is
at this.
The county's already approved it. We'd have
And
to
the
go back to
village
them.
has already approved
Yeah, I'm
it,
okay
yeah.
with that. So my question was, this was very comprehensive. In fact, I took me by surprise. Like, when does this end? As I was reading through it. Like,
In a
it's-
good way.
It's in a good way, of course. So did you guys come up with this on your own, or was there an example to look at, or how did?
The board and Tara took some other communities and that the province thought were good models for an agreement and fashioned it after that.
Okay, and so there's been an evolution of it, but that's where it started. Okay.
Correct.
I mean, I thought it was pretty good. I mean, it is. I must have to be a lawyer
Thank
to go
you.
through it.
Well, you can report to your board that,
Yeah.
please. Councillor Brown?
I make a motion to approve the regional FCSS agreement. There's no numbers on it,
Yeah,
so
that's good.
that's it,
As presented.
as per that. There you go.
Anybody else needs to come and speak? All in favor? Thank you. All right, so that's
Public
approved.
comment.
You can report to your group that we approved that agreement.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The Agricultural Society Agreement, there again, it's, we need to approve an amendment. Councillor Burton, do you want to?
I do, so we talked about this before,
Yeah,
just exactly what we're talking about is, once you try it on for size, you want to make a couple of these are all pretty much date-related changes that we're making, and then a clarification on the time period for
Yeah.
those contributed assets. So I would move that we enter into this amending agreement as presented.
Thank you. All in favor? Thank you very much. The next one is a TIPP interest. Jeff informed us that we always follow Lethbridge. Lethbridge has brought down their interest rate to 1%, which is a little bit better than what a saving account might give you. But it's not tons, but it's
Just
better than
to be
nothing.
clear, you're not required to follow Lethbridge. We've always looked at them to see, they're one of their bigger TIP people in the region, so we've just looked at them to see and taken guidance from them.
Yeah.
That's been historically what we've done, but by all means, if that's not satisfactory, but we do think it's a good program. We're getting more and more people on it, but there is a cost associated when the interest rate's higher.
Right. And personally, I think, you know, if in a region 1% is what's about the guideline, it's not about the guideline to follow. So, Councillor Brown,
Make a motion that council decrease the TIP interest rate for the 2025, 2026 year by 1%.
1%.
1%.
It's the exact same.
What did I
but
say?
You said by one, but it's the
But
exact
it comes to the same
it's the
thing.
same,
Was
yeah.
one, was 2% minus 1 is 1. Okay, it's all right, Councillor.
I know.
You're all good.
That's what I said.
All in favor?
No?
It was like going from 100 down by one.
Yeah, well, it's okay.
I know
It
you
was
knew
not.
that.
All right, now let's go to the fun stuff, councillors.
That's wise. The fun
Okay,
stuff.
The one that said it.
2025 parade.
Oh, I know.
All right. Councillor Brown, are you going to do the blood tribe?
Please. Parade. Yes, I will.
Okay.
What's the date of the
Pancake breakfast is on July 19th.
Anybody else wants to go with Councillor Brown? No?
I don't think I can.
Okay, Councillor Kenley, you have a.
I was just gonna say I've always done Raymond, and I would like to actually go to the parade and not be in it. 'Cause
My argument
it looks
every year.
cool. So
Okay.
the only one I can do is McGrath this year.
You know what?
Personally,
Would you allow me to do Raymond?
I would
Please.
lovely allow you. Lovely allow you.
Love to allow.
Love to allow you.
Thank you. I know Sterling always wants me to go there, but I can't go to everything.
Happy to do Sterling. I've gone
Okay.
every other year.
All right. Councillor Burton.
I can
Councillor
do
Jensen, what
McGrath.
would you like?
I would like Glenwood.
Glenwood.
But with this, it says town car. Can I use my own car? Because my fun would be to do the parade and then head to Fernie.
Sure.
So
You guys arrange that with administration.
Stick your name on the side of it.
Yeah, we've got 3 things on
Um,
August, or, oh, it's July 19th. Okay,
Councillor Court, which one?
I'll be at Cardston. That's
Okay.
about the only one I can, the other ones I'm gonna think I'm gonna be in
I can
Kalispell.
do.
McGrath I could do also. It's my last parade.
It's my family in McGrath. I would
Okay.
love to do.
Councillor Brown.
I said, but she can do it. I'm good.
I mean,
Councillor Kenley, do you want?
I'm good. I will do Carson.
I can do
I can't do Lethbridge.
Lethbridge if needs be.
No, but hold on. Okay.
Let's discuss that.
Let's try to share the wealth and the fun.
I can do Lethbridge.
Okay, good.
So Councillor Granger.
Lethbridge is fun because you're in the carriage.
Super fun.
Yeah, except when the band's playing the horses.
Okay,
Can't throw candy out.
We usually have 2.
Okay, all right. Councillor Brown wants to do McGrath.
Sure. I will say that it is funner. When I did Lethbridge parade, Councillor Burton, I bullied him at the last minute to come, and it's way funner.
If you had
have 2 of you.
somebody else.
I just went with my family, so.
So who wants to go with Councillor Granger? August the 19th. Which day in the week is that?
It's Wednesday.
A
Or
Wednesday?
It's sorry. Yeah,
The
it's a
parade is on
Tuesday.
Thursday.
It's a Tuesday.
It's always on Tuesday.
Okay, that's right, yeah.
Councillor Brown, you can also do that.
I could, yeah, if no one.
Just get there and get in the carriage, right?
If you wanna do Pincher Creek, you have the rest covered, if anyone wants Pincher, you don't have to do them, but.
Now, Pincher Creek are the town cars that don't, no longer have the carriage. Okay, well, Pincher Creek, August the 16th, which day in the week is that? Is it Friday?
I think.
Is that a Saturday?
August 16th.
Okay, I'll do Pincher Creek just for the fun of it.
Do we know how much it costs to take our carriage out?
Yeah.
$500 used to be, but it's much more expensive now.
It sure presents well.
Just ride your horse.
Yeah, the Pincher Creek one in
Buffalo.
particular, it was always a very beautiful. We done that with my husband many times. That Pincher Creek one with a carriage is definitely a beautiful little parade.
I've
with,
done Pincher Creek the last 2 years. So.
yeah, so
You know, if I ask, well, why are we going to these parades, what would the answer be?
To give children candy.
Show the flag.
Lottery.
you cannot
like,
send
what is the
you cannot
reason-
send candy in
Oh, but
Pincher
I'm
Creek.
asking, why do we go to the parades? And that might help us think through why we would have the carriage or not.
Well, Councillor Brown.
So I think personally why we go to the parades is so that we can get people to take a look at our Cardston sign and say, you know, I haven't been out there in a bit. Oh yeah, they've got that golf course, and oh yeah, they've got the bike park and a spray park, and gosh, you know, maybe I want to move out there. I want
So
it's that memory of, oh yeah, it's Cardston.
and then I think I think it is that, and it's also showing a sense of community with the other communities.
Agreed.
Right? Our carriage would accomplish what you're talking about so
Agreed.
much better than a magnetic thing on a little car.
I don't disagree.
I know, but I'm saying if we think of the reason why we're there, does the little car get it done? If it does, let's do that. But if it doesn't, we've got the best carriage in Alberta.
I know.
For me, I go because of the camaraderie. You know, I get out of the car, you know, we park, we're in line, and then I get out and I go and I visit with everyone else from all of the other municipalities, from the MLAs and the everyone there. It's camaraderie, and it's getting to know people and to network with them. And I've met a lot of people. I've gone to the Pincher Creek one for the last 2 years. And I've met a lot of people there, and they've always said thank you for coming and being in our parade, and I appreciate that.
Jeff?
I just want to mention another wrinkle to your question, Councillor Burton, is part of the reason we started using the car was that the Remington would no longer take the carriage if you wanted to throw candy.
Yeah. Right.
And so that was part of it too. So if you wanted to go to McGrath and throw out a bunch of candy, you can't take a carriage.
No.
Our only option was the car. So they changed the rules on that a few years. Now, there is a little nuance to that too. That if we wanted to go to McGrath, let's say, and really wanted a carriage, if we could talk Doc Jones into taking his team and the trolley, that's no longer the Remington. And then that's why you can throw candy in the Cardston one. Because you're with Doc Jones on the trolley, you're not with the Remington vehicle. So that's just another little wrinkle is why we started. That's only been not that many years ago. We used to be carriage almost everywhere. And then the Remington came and said, we will not be behind anyone that throws candy, and we can't have it thrown from our vehicles.
Yeah.
Because of the liability of running over a kid?
Yeah.
Well,
I get it.
in Pincher Creek, they have
Especially in
they
rain.
have some young, 12, 13 years old, that have bucket of candy and walk along the side of the parade and
Tried that too.
throw that to the kids.
Didn't work out.
Now, Fort MacLeod, that is something for the next council to worry about. Thank you, councillors.
Councillor Court will be there.
Watching.
Watching,
Yeah.
throwing snowballs at whoever's there.
All right, so under 6E, maybe Councillor Granger, you can help us with that one. The Friends
Yeah.
Society, the Remington-Alberta Carriage Centre funding update and request. So go ahead, Councillor.
Okay, so I'm on that board, and when they applied last fall for the $5,000 and council agreed to give it to them, the intention was that they would take that money and use it towards Remington Days and the event that they've historically put on, which is essentially the chuck wagon races. There's a number of other things like the sheepdog demonstration and a few other things, but it's primarily the mini chucks, right? So that was the intention. And as we started to organize and talk about it back in February, it became clear, just coincidentally, that the competitors that have been coming all retired.
Oh, gosh.
So we had 2 or 3 wagons instead of 8 to 10 wagons. So we couldn't get the wagon masters, their teams, and their wagons. And so, unfortunately, we had to admit that with 2 or 3 wagons, we couldn't hold the event. And so I said, and it was actually my idea, my recommendation, because I sit on this council and I sit on their board, that we need to be transparent and write a letter to council saying things have changed and the event actually won't go on as originally planned. And so and instead of putting the event on, we're actually going to train and find new wagon masters that would be able to come in future years, including a real emphasis on older teenagers and youth. And this would mean reaching out to other places in the province. We're talking about, Montana, Wyoming, to get the word out to come to our Remington Days in 2026. So we are going to expend some funds in terms of carrying that exercise out as opposed to holding the event. And so the board, in its wisdom, decided, and I said, well, it wouldn't hurt, is to let council know what I just said, the event isn't happening, and could we use that $5,000 from council, because it's budgeted towards this exercise to try and find and train, particularly with youth, future wagon masters that would come to the event down the road.
Okay.
He's just presenting on behalf of the board.
Anything else regarding that, Councillor?
I was just gonna, when I was reading this last night, I just I found it weird to be supporting the group is great for the event. I find it weird to be supporting their marketing and their stuff like that. In terms of they're trying, that says to find for promoting materials and marketing for the future. I'm fine for it this year. I just don't want it to be well, we don't have enough next year as well. Can we get another set of money to do it? To keep I don't want it to be an ongoing thing. I want the Remington Days to continue, and so I'm fine with it this year kind of thing. But I don't want it to be another ask for, can we have more money for promoting next year kind of thing. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Well, if I can counter that, the council has habitually supported the Friends of the Remington Society in past years. The dollar figure has gone up because of insurance. They were actually holding the event without insurance, which when the current board of directors heard that, we said, well, there's no way that that should have been permitted. And so we get event insurance every year, and it was going to be close to $3,000.
Yeah.
The request for funds for promotion, that need is always there every year. And so I can tell you that the Friends of the Remington will be habitually asking for council support for this event. It wasn't a one-time thing, and because council has supported this event and Friends of the Remington in the past number of years, so it was never a one-shot deal in our minds.
No, I never said that.
And And so next year, when we're gonna hold a full-blown event, we will have, need for funds. We also do a lot of fundraising, and we get a lot of donations from businesses in the community. There's a whole effort by the board of the Friends of the Remington Society to raise enough money. It's probably we have to raise at least $25,000 to hold this thing.
Okay. Councillor Jensen, Councillor Kenley.
Okay, this is just for personal, maybe just personal knowledge. So, if Councillor Granger is on that, Friends Society board, and he's not there as a councillor because it's not a council-driven board, should he not be dismissed for the discussion of
It's
this meeting? Like,
there's no
I don't know, I'm
conflict.
just
There's no
asking.
conflict of interest. I don't gain personally.
Well,
Mayor,
and
answer it.
we're discussing finances, money,
But he's not benefiting personally from
but
it.
when I was on community theater board and I was asked to be dismissed, I wasn't gaining anything, nothing.
You know, you have a point, it's a perception, right?
I just wanna know I just wanna know, how are we drawing the line? How do you decide?
Yeah, I get you, Councillor. Councillor Brown?
So I think the difference for me is when, was it in closed session?
Yeah.
When we asked that you go out of the room,
It
it would have
was.
been when we were in closed
It was,
session.
it was
It
in
was?
closed session.
So that's what I'm saying.
Mhm.
So the fact that this is public and this is, do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
In that one, I think we were trying to cover your butt so that in the notes, it would see we were talking, because you've talked about it, the Carriage Theater, but in the notes it said Councillor Jensen, how do we say that?
Excused, you should be recused.
What?
Recused.
Yep,
Can you
that
give
you
me,
did that.
Okay.
Shem?
Okay, so Councillor Granger, it's not personal. I just, like I
No,
said, I
that's the
want to
difference.
understand.
I think because
why.
that was in closed session, whereas
Okay.
this isn't in closed session, this is open. So because it's open and he's talking about money and everything in full, like it's being videoed, whereas with yours, it was in closed session, so the public can't see what we're talking about.
Okay.
And so you were wise in asking to be excused from it so that the decision could be made and you had nothing to do with it. This is different. Closed session versus not.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
To
I
me,
understand that
I
now.
think lawyer would know better, but that would be my understanding.
Mayor, can I respond?
Yes, please go ahead,
So-
Councillor.
Councillor Jensen, I appreciate your sincerity with this. However, conflict of interest, and we went through this within 1 year of being elected. Conflict of interest only exists if somebody like me gains financially personally. I don't. I'm a volunteer member of a board. Okay, so yes, council is providing funds, but council is asking me because I coincidentally happen to be a board member of this board and I have knowledge about it. There's no conflict of interest, because conflict of interest is defined under the MGA as I would have to gain financially, personally for it.
Yeah, you have no
So you should know that.
pecuniary interest in that.
Okay,
I
come on,
understand
come on,
that.
guys, that's fine. It's a matter is taken care of. Thank you so much. But good clarification, Councillor Burton.
I have a question. Is the Friends of Remington involved with our Parade of Lights?
No.
They're not. They just hold it at
That's the
the
museum.
Remington.
Used to be, you're right,
It's
but no.
not museum anymore.
Okay.
All right,
And the Friends of the Remington Society is not the Remington Museum.
Understand that.
Yeah, well,
That's
a
why I
lot
asked
of
the
people think
question.
that we're connected to them, that we were paid by the province. It's got nothing to do with the province. It's a group of citizens that want to see the Remington Museum succeed. That's what it's there for.
okay. Councillor Kenley?
I was just gonna, in response, I want this to happen. Like, I'm not saying that. I know it's not just a one-time thing. I get that. My concern was, I guess it's a what if, right? What if they don't find any new people or new wagon masters for the following year, is it gonna be, like, are we gonna do anything? Is it gonna be canceled? Is there gonna be another request? Can we keep using the fund? That's what I was saying.
I would say, and
I guess we'll figure that out when it comes to that.
yeah, I would say
That's all.
that the indications are that there is interest out there, and in fact, it'll come back bigger and better. That's my guess right now. But if it doesn't happen, they wouldn't be even requesting the funds.
That's all
because-
I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's all I was getting at.
it's specifically for Remington.
Councillor Brown, Councillor Burton,
No,
Thank
my
you.
question's been
Councillor
answered.
Burton.
So one suggestion is the Ag Society carries insurance. They can hold all the events they want under that insurance, doesn't cost them any more. So they've already paid it. There's no additional $3,000 anywhere. What if you guys talk to them and maybe if you did it in conjunction with them, or they did it, but you're the guys doing the manpower or something? It might be a nice fit because you save the $3,000 insurance money, and they have a lot of contacts in that sector already.
I can reach out to them. This is a one event insurance cost.
I know.
They don't do anything else.
I understand that, but that's why it's $3,000. I'm saying, just a thought, I would, give them a call and say, hey, if we did this together, we could, it saves you $3,000 if it works. That's my point.
Okay. Thank you so much for the input and clarification. It's always good. 6F.
Do we not need a resolution?
Well, there's
Yeah,
two
you're
there.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do
You
you
need
answer
to-
their request?
I got
So-
this.
You have that one, Councillor Brown?
Love
Go
to.
ahead.
I would like to recommend that the funds that have been set aside to go towards the $5,000 that was set aside to go towards the mini chucks now go towards the recruitment of the next generation of wagon masters as the Friends Society of the Remington Center feel fit.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Friends of the Remington Society. Friends of the Remington Museum Society is the correct name.
Well, I just read the little thing right here, and it says Friends Society Remington, Alberta.
Okay, sure.
All in favor? All right, Councillor Granger, do you want to do the next?
We just need.
Is
That's
there two?
That's it.
No, that's
Two.
fine.
What
Two
else?
delegations. We have the,
Oh,
Oh, we're not there yet.
Are we not at the
We haven't done the
delegation?
first one yet.
No, we're good.
yeah.
We're good, sorry, Councillor Granger. Okay, on the 6F, the 6F one is going to be dealt with in confidential
It is.
meeting. So let's do 6F2, the HITMA request. Councillor Burton.
so I took the liberty of talking to Ryan Dick, who's our planner,
I was just wondering why we weren't doing this one.
Okay, guys, thank you.
about this issue. And he said that it's come up in other communities that he's worked with.
Oh, you missed it.
And
We're
so,
doing closed session. They moved it.
so he has some experience with it. And I think it would be wise on our part to have him come give a presentation or
Yeah.
thoughts on that, considerations, I guess. So what I'm recommending is that we don't discuss it now, that we put it on another agenda, and it could go on our CCW as easily as the other one, and invite him. He said he'd be happy to come and discuss it while he's here. He could give us a presentation and lead our discussion on it,
Mhm.
because I think it's a significant change, because R1 is what most of our houses are zoned as in town. And that's the only one that it's in the prohibited section, and it's prohibited for a reason, because those lots are typically smaller. So you look at things like access and things, so that's my recommendations. We don't discuss it now. That administration puts that point onto another agenda and tell Ryan Dick what day it is, and he'll come and we discuss it then.
I think it's a wise move.
I was just gonna say, our next CCW probably won't be till September,
September.
so.
Well, it can go on a regular agenda then.
Okay, are we comfortable with pushing that item? Yes.
So just to be clear, this isn't going to September. Like our next meeting, it will be on, correct?
Well, if we can get the planner.
Okay.
I just don't wanna have her wait.
Yeah, that's my point.
No, I
I
mean,
just
let's
want to make
try-
sure that we're not, she's.
But
she-
so we already turned
Answer.
down one just like it, if you think back.
Yeah, we
Trying to think
did
of it.
one.
Remember when they came and they said, I think they have a
But they
handicapped son on the next lot and all of that business? That's the exact same issue. And we turned them down because, I don't know if we turned them down, but we didn't
Well-
change anything to accommodate them, put it that
But
way.
it was,
And I think
it was different. That was two lots.
Yeah, it was
It's
two lots.
two different.
it is, but it's the same issue.
Yeah.
They were wanting to amalgamate
Yes.
and have it tab.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
they
were gonna
wanted,
consolidate it and that would cause
they
a
wanted to
problem.
do one lot with two.
So as soon as they do that, it's the exact same thing we're talking about here. So I think it's an issue, but
On the other
I'm not
hand,
prepared to change, to have a public hearing and everything to do one if we haven't had proper consultation on it.
I really think if we
I think even
do,
if she waits, she waits.
I think if we do changes, there would be changes that should be able to be applied to other people if they are in similar
Yeah, I
situation.
think we do it.
And I really
broad.
think then if the land use bylaw needs to be changed, let's go that way. All right, so Jeff, you don't need a resolution, you're fine. Okay, councillors, whatever else. Under committee, I'm just going to report on a meeting I went to for the mayors and reeves that was in Tabor. And that one, you remember you had said we need to kind of deal with the policing issue we have, which was with the sheriff and all that presence in our town. We happen to have on the agenda the changes that's happening on policing, and we had the head of the RCMP in Alberta who was there, and there were different issues that were discussed. I brought that one up, and he agrees that we were not the first town to report of that issue. Now they're trying to work closer with the sheriffs and make them aware of how we want to do policing in municipalities. What I told them that we need to begin with better communication between the RCMP and the sheriffs in town. That when I do a blitz, that's good, so long there is force working together for one specific purpose. But to have constant presence just because they are in the area is becoming a problem for us, because then our own RCMP don't feel that they want to enforce more of the issues that they find regarding road safety, because it's already such a presence. And I said, that doesn't work for us, because the way we want to see policing done in our town with our bylaw officer and the RCMP is to educate people, to monitor them, and then ticket them, but not have the ticket as a first enforcement. And I said, yes, we agree people should be law-abiding people, but it's the approach that is frustrating us in our community. And so he said he will take that back and try to work with the sheriff and other agencies that do ticketing to try to see how we can mitigate that issue in our
What
town.
department directs the sheriffs then?
It must be the Justice Department. Yeah, Solicitor General. It could be useful for us maybe to write a letter to that effect.
And copy our MLA.
Yeah, I think it would be worthwhile doing. Because, but anyway, I said I would report. Here is a reporting.
Can we make a motion for that then?
Yeah, you can make a motion to write a letter to the Sojan.
So I move that we write a letter to the Solicitor General's office regarding better coordination between RCMP, sheriffs, and peace officers. What do we call it? Peace officer? Yeah. And our peace officers in our community. And I know, I can tell you for a fact, the other communities across Grath, Raymond for sure, has the same issue.
Yeah, and
I mean, you would know, you were at the meeting.
Yeah, and I've asked Jeff to add it for mayor meeting as an item to report on
But
because
well, I don't know if we
we might need to
get
have
them
their
to
support.
support it or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. We're going there tomorrow, so we'll talk about that.
Uh,
Friday, that's right, sorry.
Just tongue in cheek, can we quote our previous mayor? We don't want you here, get out. That's
Well,
what he told us, that's what he told the
Yeah, but
sheriff,
he-
right
but-
to the guy's face, so.
but if you,
Tongue in cheek, Mayor.
I know, but if you remember, then the interviewer asked him if he had lately got a ticket, and there was a big silent pause, and he had to admit
I
he
don't
had.
remember that one. but
So, well, go back and listen to the tape, you will see.
How long ago that was?
Yeah, yeah, well, I remember that one because I had to chuckle, sorry.
So
But I did-
let's write a letter, let's get the other community support for it.
All in favor? Thank you. All right, so that's what I did. So beside that, nothing else we
I have a
could go
question.
in?
Under 8, I have a question. for-
Okay, go
for
ahead.
Jeff. Jeff, we talked about when TELUS came in to see us, about their expanding service. Two questions. Despite what they were saying, and given the concern about the technical issues with some of their plant, their systems, that we send another letter to them requesting fiber optic in the community. Did that get sent? Did you get a response?
Yes and yes. I got an email that it was received and they'd be reaching out, but I haven't had that conversation. So we did send the letter, it's been recognized as received. That's what I would say.
And I never saw anything from them in the community. Did they promote this new service?
They did a day at the building out on the sidewalk, yes. I don't know a lot of the details, but I know they held a bit of a promotion.
But they haven't done anything media-wise?
And not that I'm aware of.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Kenley?
Just a question for Jeff, if anything's come about the golf course since our last conversation. Dale gotten back to you at all? I don't know where it's at.
Yeah, so even today, there was what Dale is considering the final piece of the puzzle is, how do I explain it? It's a schedule of all of basically everything going into the building, and all of it's all the shop drawings for everything essentially that's going in, and it has all their engineering requirements, voltage, electrical requirements, HVAC requirements. So that came through today. So I think, as far as I understand, that's the last of the planning document to go to construction.
Will it get
Construction
started
drawings.
this year? That's what everybody's wondering.
Hope so. Yeah, I sure hope so. I don't think there's anything waiting for construction drawings.
No,
That's what I
don't
would say.
lose hope,
But
Councillor.
It's gone to tender, it hasn't.
No, it hasn't been to tender because they got to have the construction drawing, and from what I understand, everything's done now for it.
Now, sorry.
Yes.
No, next month.
Go ahead, Councillor.
So now it goes to tender, not Tinder.
Correct.
Because that'd be wrong.
Yeah, no, we don't.
Tender.
I don't see any upside to that, but
Speeds things up, Jeff.
it might be some contractors on there. I don't know, but yes.
Sorry.
To answer your question,
Tongue in
Okay.
cheek, counselor.
Holy.
Sorry, we could say, have the same question about the sewage treatment plant. Is that imminently being tendered?
there is
Some
certain
pieces.
product procurement.
Yeah.
And then waiting for some engineering response from DuPont before it goes to tender. So they want to go.
He's ready to go to tender.
I think it's really close. They were waiting on DuPont to get back with feedback
than
on the
that.
process design. Yep.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Do it, let's do it.
We're coming closer, we're getting, Year
Are we?
close,
The
year
Band-Aid
close.
is just,
No
woo.
kidding.
No,
Rip it
it's
off.
only 6 years that we're suffering.
Yeah, that's all right.
Okay, councillors, I need the
Make a motion to go in
motion.
closed session.
Thank you. All in favor? Thank you. Councillors, we're doing well.
I move that we advertise lots A and B separately for sale and see what interest we get.
Amazing. All in favor? All right, one more, councillors. Councillor Kenley. All in favor? Thank you. All right, we done very well. Thank you for enjoying the sunshine.